Let's talk about lateral stability, side-to-side stability on your tractor. Stick around. If you've owned a tractor for long, then you have probably experienced that little bit of uneasy feeling side to side, whether it's on a bumpy field, on a hillside, going up and down your drive, plowing it in the wintertime, whatever it might be. If you have a cab, sometimes that can compound the issue as well. So most of these tractors, whether it's going to be a little subcompact or even into a bigger 4 Series compact, they're going to have a pretty high natural level of center of gravity. And it can be even worse if you have a cab on here, because more of that weight is going to be higher up on the operator station off the base of the ground. And so when you have a really high load like that and you have a relatively narrow machine, whether it's with a cab or without a cab, it can create some nervous moments. And so for me, that's one of the reasons why I added duals onto my machine, although I realize on smaller machines like this, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I know some of you guys think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world, but I think it's fun, you know. But I did it basically to give myself more of that lateral, that side-to-side stability, you know, in my front lawn, in my woods, at my hunting lease, all that kind of thing. A lot of situations where these machines, you know, you get one wheel down in a hole, for instance, and you're just kind of like this. If you're not on perfectly even ground, you know, you get that real tippy feeling there. So another reason to always carry your loads low, like if you have a front end loader on with a bucket or pallet forks or a grapple or anything like that, always keep those loads as low to the ground as you possibly can, safety first. It's a common question that I'm asked all the time on a daily basis is, how can I improve my lateral stability? You know, I have a very hilly property. I'm doing everything as safe as I can, but I still have those uneasy feelings. I'm going to tell you some common options that are available. Perhaps you can use a combination of them as well. Hey, and as always, if you have another idea, make sure you share it below. And for those of you watching with a question, make sure you read those comments as well, because we have a lot of good input here. Hey, I don't want to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. This is going to be about these Boro wheel spacers. That's going to be one of the most popular solutions for folks to increase that lateral stability. Motorsport Tech, they make these things for tractors, for UTVs, for four-wheelers, for trucks, for cars, for whatever you want. They're made in America, they're made to order. You get them in aluminum and steel. We'll talk more about them later, but you get 5% off with discount code GWT. Read the description below for the link. Hey, if you like what you see here, make sure you hit that subscribe button below, give me a thumbs up, and share this video. A while back I made a video about adding duals, okay, to my 1025R. Now I tell you, I'm still inundated with questions on how I got this set up. I show it right in that video. The downside is the fact that that manufacturer, that company selling these adapter kits is no longer selling them. I don't know why. I haven't reached out. I'm not sure if they sold out. I'm not sure if they just discontinued them. I don't know. So I am looking for another solution for duals. You know what? I don't know how practical they are for most of us. There's a lot cheaper way to go about increasing your side-to-side stability. Now, I will say that even though they do increase the safety factor, in my opinion at least, they also look pretty sweet too. You know, so when I think about it, when I'm sitting on the operator station, that's another couple hundred pounds in my case here, and if I'm getting that side-to-side tippy feeling, you know, it's basically like a pendulum, right? You know, you have a more weight up top here, it's a higher center of gravity. So what happens if we lower that center of gravity down? If we put more weight from up here and we move it down here? Well, obviously, I still have to be in the operator station, but we can offset that by adding liquid ballast weight into the tires, which is what I've done here. So not only did I add on the dual wheel kit that was here, but I also filled all of these tires with liquid ballast. So I ended up filling these up with liquid ballast, about 90% full. I think they weigh about 130, 135 pounds each, so that's 270 pounds, 540 pounds approximately that I added. Now, again, if you're not adding duals, you know, you're gonna have about 270 pounds of liquid ballast. Again, that weight is down here versus up there. So if it's closer to the ground, there's less of that swaying effect that can occur, right? So along the same lines as liquid ballast are going to be wheel weights as well. So these are for a bigger 4 Series like the cab tractor I have, and these smaller ones down here are going to be for a 1025R. Now on a cost per pound basis, this is going to be a lot more expensive than getting your liquid ballast. I've done a whole video comparing different cost per pound of different ballast weight options, including liquid ballast and wheel weights and a ballast box and suitcase weights and all that stuff. So I'll put a link above so you can check that out too after you're done here. And now it's okay. You can go ahead and do both of these solutions if you want. And in fact, you may need to do that to achieve your minimum required rear ballast weight as it is anyways. But lowering your center of gravity by getting liquid ballast and or wheel weights is going to help you out. So lowering your center of gravity is obviously very important to do. And if you take that weight from up here and you put more of it down below here, well, you're getting rid of that pendulum swing. What's the other great way to improve your stability? The most practical way is going to be to use something like a wheel spacer right here. And I'll tell you, these wheel spacers here by Bora are a good solution. They're a company that I wanted to work with for a long time. You can see here they're made in America. That's always a bonus. These things are made to order as well. And they work with a lot of the major manufacturers out there, a lot of the tractor dealers. They just make these things and ship them right to them. Every industry that you can think of that's going to need wheel adapters, they're in already. Now you can get these in both aluminum and steel. You can also get them in increments from 1 inch all the way up to 6 inches. Now, if you are running a mid-mount mower on your machine, then I want to tell you that the dual wheels are completely out of the question, unless you cut off the rear gauge wheels, the brackets that are on there, because they'll interfere. Now, with the wheel spacers, make sure you measure that gap, that distance between the outer wall of your tire and then the bracket or the wheel, whatever it is, the closest part there. That's going to determine how wide you can get on a wheel spacer. So I have actually seen some folks just completely eliminate the rear gauge wheel, the rear gauge bracket, or cut it off and re-weld it in a different location that doesn't interfere. That way they can still get as large of a wheel spacer as they want on their machine. I'm not saying I recommend that, I'm just saying I've seen it done, so where there's a will, there's a way. Now again, these wheel spacers here are for a 1025R, like the machine that I have. You know, I'm thinking about trying these out just to see how they do, replacing the duals with it, although I just love the duals right now, so I'm gonna rock that for a while longer, but I am gonna make a video here at some point with the installation of these things. Okay, so really quick, we are gonna take a quick measurement. Now these are gonna be steel, these are gonna be aluminum, these are both for a 1025R, they are both 2 inches thick. I will say I bought these for the front axle, I bought these for the rear. Really the only significant difference that I can see is if you take a look here at this little bevel, this little edge right here, it's going to be thicker than what's on the aluminum one. So there's probably going to be a little bit of a weight difference accounted for there. Let's take a look at the other side here. You do have more holes that are through here as well. So that's also going to save some weight. So not completely apples to apples, but it'll give you a weight comparison at least, or at least give you a data point for the weights of these two spacers right here. Go ahead and get this turned back on. 0. Okay, so that's 3.6 pounds. Let's weigh the steel now. 9.4 pounds, so that is significantly more weight. So with the aluminum wheel spacers, there's not really a whole lot you need to do. You're simply going to remove your wheel assembly, put on the spacer, put the tire back on, and you're good to go. Now, if you want to go the steel route, you're going to have a little bit more work to do. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit more work to do, but you're also going to get one added benefit. So the added benefit is the fact that these are going to weigh a lot more than the aluminum. So this is going to, again, lower your center of gravity, give you more counterweight. That's a good benefit to have. So of course, the smaller the tractor and the narrower the spacer here, the less weight you're going to have. But as you start to get bigger on tractor size, or if you start to get wider on the spacer, that weight's just going to continually increase. So what's the additional work? Well, they're going to ask you to prime and paint these and then also use some anti-seize when you go ahead and install them. So it's not that big of a deal. So one thing to consider, whether it's going to be the duals or even the wheel spacers, you're going to hear some chatter out there about how it voids manufacturer warranty. So I have tried to get a completely clear-cut, clean, just here it is in writing answer from a manufacturer, and I haven't got it. I've got opinions going both ways, you know, that it does void warranty, that it doesn't. I've had customers saying, I don't care anyway, I need the solution. It's more a matter of safety than it is a possible damage to the tractor. So I don't want you to trust my opinion on this, but I just want to share my experience with it. I've had a lot of tractors come in here, a lot of tractors come in here with wheel spacers. I mean, I'm telling you, a boatload of them. I've even had, in the past, a 3032E with duals on there, homemade dual adapters. I've never had any of those dealers that I bought them from express a warranty concern. I've had a lot of the dealers that I bought equipment from actually install wheel spacers onto new tractors for their customers when they were originally bought. So I point this out just so that you can be aware, you know, there's always a trade-off in anything you do. For me, I think the safety is a really important deal. If you're worried about warranty, maybe talk to your local dealer first. So again, these guys, you know, Bora here, they manufacture wheel spacers for a lot of tractor manufacturers, a lot of tractor dealers. They ship them right to them, they get installed on the new tractors they're sending out. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just a case by case or if it's just you know, an old wives' tale or what it might be, but I just want to make sure you have a fully rounded, clear picture, at least clear as mud. That way you can make the best, most informed decision for you. Well, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this was informative for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Read the description as well. I'll put links to where you can buy those wheel spacers. Again, 5% off with discount code GWT. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.